Hello and welcome back to the 12th Man podcast. Today I have got a special guest in store for you. Who's somebody who is a very good friend of mine who I rate highly. Most of you should know who this guy is. However, for anyone who's new to journalism in the Aston Villa world, this is Ashley Preece. Ashley Preece is the predecessor of John Townley. So he was the OG. He set the standard. He set the bar that John Townley's setting today. Ashley Preece, how are you, buddy?
What an intro that is. You do that more often, Ty. Thanks for having me on, mate. Long time coming. Yeah, good mates, and congrats on the channel launch, mate. So looking forward to see how far you go.
I appreciate that, dude.
Pleasure to be on, mate. So looking forward to having a good chat, and hello to the fellow Villa fans.
So Ash is just hardcore Villa, and Ash was probably known sometimes. Ash would sometimes when he weren't working, he'd go for a few swigs and he'd tweet exactly what he was thinking. He didn't care about his job. Sometimes he'd put a controversial tweet out and then 20 minutes later, he'd disappeared. But that was the Preece that I know and love. You probably got yourself in trouble a bit. I mean, we could talk about it now, mate.
Yeah.
Because you're not in the industry anymore.
Yeah, that's it, mate. Yeah, just one of them going for a few. Twitter's mad, isn't it? So I had to live and learn a little bit. I was new to the ropes as well. I was straight into the Villa job, wasn't I? 2019, so just got promoted. Matt Kendrick said, "Do you want to be the Villa reporter?" I said, "Yeah, go on then. Let's have a bash." And four brilliant years, Ty. And like you say, live and learn a little bit. Enjoyed one hell of a ride. And I do like a beer, Ty, as everyone knows. But yeah, I've quieted down a bit nowadays, mate.
Yeah, we're me and Ash have both got. So me and Ash talk a lot outside. Weirdly enough, me and Ash bump into each other in weird places. I think the last time I bumped into you, we were in a garden centre with our families. And then the time before that, I think we bumped into each other on Colmore Road, didn't we?
Yes, we did. I seen you on Colmore, yeah.
Yeah, that was coming up to a year ago, that was now. So, yeah, are you missing journo life, Ash? I know you're outside of that industry now. We won't talk personal life. What you do is what you do, mate. We'll kick that off camera. But are you missing that? I know, obviously, now you've got a family and stuff, and I know that was one of your reasons for coming out of it, because you want to spend more time with your family and stuff and, have your weekends to yourself. Are you missing that side of it, especially during transfer window?
Yeah, I get asked this all the time, man. It's like it's a bit in this boat. I'm missing it. I've seen like your Towns dropping the exclusive bombs. I'm like, I used to miss all that, get all the gossip and that. It's brilliant. But I don't miss it, man, because I'm back to being a fan, and I miss being a fan, if you know what I mean. I miss going down the Villa with the lads. I did that last year and a couple of years. Been brilliant. And just like I'm just back the kids and that. Like, I don't know how I'd have done it now, mate, with two kids. Like, news is dropping, Garnacho's coming, blah, blah, blah. I don't have to, like, leave them in the bath. I'm off. I've got to do this. So, kudos to any journalists out there juggling fatherhood. It's hard work, so don't regret it at all. There's a lot of travelling involved with the job, home and away games, pre-season tours. Yeah. And I did miss my family at times. And it's quite a lonely gig. I'm not sure. I won't speak for Taylor here. It's quite a lonely gig. You're on your own a lot. And you're there boring away, giving the fans what they want, giving them all the news, and it's quite obsessive, and it's your life. It takes over because it's got to take over, because there's that demand there. People want to know what's going on, and I've come from a good background, news journalist. I like telling stories. I like getting all the gossip. I like getting the news first, and that's what I prided myself on, really. So yeah, one hell of a ride. I owe a lot to Matt Kendrick for believing in me, and built up a good following. Did my best. Got some good stories out there, and passed the baton on in the end. So yeah, don't miss it now, mate. I really don't. So I like going down as a fan, and loved it last year as well with the Europa League one. So I'd have been devoted last year, been in the press box and not really enjoying it with everyone.
Yeah, so, having to stay sober and not be doing reports and live updates. It's mental. Fun fact, actually, Ash, I don't know if you know this, but you were in the first ever podcast that I ever did. I don't know if it was Claret and Blue at the time, and I can't remember exactly who. I can't remember if Rollo was there on, but behind the scenes. But it was definitely me, you, and Kendrick.
I remember it, mate. Yeah, it was. It was on just off Colmore Road.
Yeah. That was a fair few years ago, and I was a tank then as well. I was about, I don't know, man. I was the size of a house, but I've still got a bit of a dad bod now. I still enjoy a takeaway or two. Speaking of takeaways or two, I've absolutely bullied a chicken biryani for tea tonight. By the way, mate. Yeah, chili chips,
man.
mint yogurt, you name it, the full works. So yeah, so I need to get this podcast wrapped up swiftly before I'm on the bog, but here we are.
Yeah, I do remember that, the first one. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, it was class, mate. It was class all them many moons ago. And, I owe you that, mate, so thank you. But anyway, into the nitty and gritty, Mr. Preece.
Go on.
Istanbul Champions League qualification. How did you feel coming up to the end of the season, dude? How was it for you?
Yeah.
Finally get a trophy.
Oh, euphoric, wasn't it, mate? Yeah, I was lucky enough to get over as well. Got a ticket last minute.
Did you?
People think get freebies still on that. Oh, you know people, don't you? Like, nah, it's long gone now. But got a ticket last minute and went over with my dad, my brother, a few of our mates, and lived it up and remember that forever kind of thing.
And had a few swigs.
Had a few swigs, a few FSCs, but still, for the game, I remember the game. It was sound. It was such a good day. A lot of anticipation. I seen Kendo and Rolo going in, so it's a good omen. And
into the prawn seats.
Yeah, I seen them going in, into the prawn seats. Can't believe that. How they wang that. Fair play to them.
Oh, and mate, not even just the press seats. The the print seat, the print stories, man, mental, absolutely mental that was. But fair play to them, man. They're Kendo's still living off that, I think. To be fair,
yeah. And then got to the airport. Coming on, I get roasted by the future king, didn't I? Prince William. He name dropped me with Kendo, didn't I? He goes, "Oh, John Terry's better than Ash, man." And it's just like that was probably my stand-up memory of Istanbul, really. Getting roasted by the future king. So
I think you should get it tattooed. I think you should get a photo of him with like a cloud speech bubble next to it and just him slagging you off. At least he knows who you are. The future king of England knows who Ashley Preece is. What a bloke.
I'll take that, mate. So, but what a season, mate. Unreal. I remember he's doing it incredible. I got a bit carried away to start with the 5-game start, no goal. I was like, what's going on here? They've stopped listening to him. So I was a bit panicking with the start of the season we had. And then we had that unreal run. The goals are flying in left, right and centre. And then we just managed to get over the line, didn't we? With that Liverpool game was unreal as well. And we did it. And credit to the team and the manager especially. So buzzing, what a season. And again, we need to back it up again, don't we now, mate? And Champions League football as well. And I'm so intrigued. The start of the window has been nuts, mate. So we'll get into that, I'm sure. But what's going on? So, exciting times ahead for Villa, mate. I'm buzzing for it.
Yeah, so going into speaking of the transfer window started off relatively quiet, didn't it? But luckily, we had the World Cup, so it was kind of a distraction, wasn't it? I know a lot of the games were really late and we had work in the morning and stuff, but the World Cup was kind of there at a nice time. We knew a big window needed to happen. Not necessarily financially, but we knew that there'd be some outgoings and some incomings too. And, there's never a dull transfer window for Villa. There's always some form of controversy, and we'll get on to today's controversy because there has absolutely been some. But the transfer window so far, Ash, obviously quiet start to the window, and then out of nowhere, bang, Yuri Tillemans is off, and the floodgates have opened, and the signings have started coming in. How do you feel that the window's gone so far, and what are your thoughts about it, mate?
Yeah, it's a bit of a revamp, isn't it, for the squad? I think it is needed. The Tillemans news came as a shock. I don't know about you, just stunned by that, really. And that got done. Fair play. What a player. And then just, the signings that come in, Joe Gomez from Wolves, I quite like that one, Ty. Got a bit of bite about him, something we need in there, especially with the Onana's injury and Kamara coming back. So he'll be a good fit. And the Rodgers one was a huge deal, isn't it? For me, I think it's a great deal for Villa, I think. He does blow hot and cold. Great player on his day, match winner. You know what he's like, Ty, but I think the money is too good to turn down, and we just need to reinvest that now. And like I say, I think the squad does need a revamp. We've spoken about it many times that a lot of these players are still Dean Smith's players, for God's sake. So I'm excited to see what we do, get some good youngsters in, get some good talent in, and just attack the season again. So I'm intrigued to see what Emery and the transfer committee can do.
It's
by far not done yet.
Yeah, it's been a roller coaster, mate, and the Tillemans news was a shock for all of us. But from the Grealish days, mate, I feel like I say this a lot, especially on camera. But I learnt my lesson from the Grealish days. You don't fall in love with a footballer. Nothing will ever. I don't think unless like John McGinn went to Blues or something. I don't think anything could ever hurt me like the Grealish to City did, and I think everybody probably echoes that. So we had learnt from that. But, you know, the Tillemans was still a bit of a kick in the teeth. But now we seem to be on to our attacking options, mate. That's, you know, Estupiñán seems to be, it doesn't seem to be quite over the line yet. You know, I assume we'll see him be rotating a lot with Maatsen, but that one seems to be coming soon. Worked in an Emery system before, you know, clever signing massively. Big thumbs up for me on that one. But the attacking line for me is where I think the business needs to start. We've reinforced the middle of the field. You know, that we maybe could have done with one or two going out on the defensive side. You know, Luca Dean obviously going to PSG, massive wages off the books, but played 184 games for us, was absolutely class.
Yeah.
But from the attacking front, you know, I feel like that's where we most definitely need a revamp. I mean, Evan Gasson got sent out on loan to Palace and did fairly well at Palace, but, you know, he's a player who's more comfortable in the centre of the pitch, really, and he got played out wide. So whether he's going to get a redemption arc or not is another story. And it looks as well like Leon Bailey's going to Hull, even though he's currently playing in the match against Warsaw. Going forward-wise, do you think that the front line needs a complete revamp, Ash? What do you think is going to happen in the window, mate?
I'm intrigued by the Watkins situation. Obviously, last year, he needs a bit of help, doesn't he? We obviously seen Duran off. Then he brought Tammy Abraham to plug a gap. Tammy didn't play as much. Tammy could be off as well. Where does Watkins? Where's the landlord with Watkins? Is he going to be the main man again? Do we just stick with him? He's durable, isn't he? He plays every game. And then we do try and sign a number 9, just sit on the bench as and when, a bit like Tammy's doing now. I don't know. I'm really intrigued by that situation. Or do they cash it in? Do they look to cash in now while they can with Ollie? I don't know. Yeah. But it needs some quality in wide area as well, don't we, Ty? Obviously, losing Rodgers, left wing, I need a bit of pace, and I think we do need some attacking reinforcements. But yeah, I'm intrigued by the striker position.
Yeah, but with Ollie Watkins, if you apply the same logic to Yuri Tillemans, and you could say the same with Ezri Konsa being linked to Arsenal, Ollie Watkins has done a tremendous amount for this club, but he's also received a tremendous amount of criticism from fans online too, because at times there has been instances where it can be frustrating to watch. However, the guy consistently has 20-plus goal contributions in a season, and that's something that isn't easy to replace, especially when we're on a tight budget. So if we apply the same logic that we are to Ezri Konsa and Yuri Tillemans there, this is probably firstly for Ollie's side, probably his last chance at a big contract, you know, in terms of the financials. But also this is probably our last opportunity to cash in on Ollie if he is to leave. But, you know, what's the right thing to do there? Is it, we seem to be, I mean, I've been releasing episodes as rebuilds, and it does feel like we are starting a new chapter under Unai Emery. Do you think it's the right time? Do you think Ollie should see out his days and, you know, be called a hero by some, maybe even a legend? You know, what would you do if you were Ollie? Would you be looking for your last big payday in football, or would you want to see your days out of Villa, mate?
I'd like to see out of Villa. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. He's done well, mate. He's done well. I've hammered him before as well. He misses too many chances, this, that, and the other. But bottom line is, he comes up with the goods when you need him, doesn't he, Ollie? So I'd like to see him stay on. The problem is, though, he don't like sitting on the bench, does he, as you said before. So he wants to play every minute of every game. So do we stick with him and he's our main man again, or do we need to improve that area? I don't know. I know Brian Maggio scored 2 tonight already.
He has. Yeah, he has.
Funny situation with him. But I don't know what they're going to do up there. Apparently the interest in him from Turkey is real. So I'd like to see him stick it out, but we do need options, don't we? When he's on a dry spell, we do need that quality to come back in off the bench. I don't think Tammy is that. But we'll see where we go with it. He's intriguing one. A couple of years in his deal as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is with Tammy and Ollie is they both bring different attributes as strikers. And Ollie Watkins, replacing his goal contributions is one thing, but the guy is a bloody workhorse. He absolutely runs his mittens off every single game. And it's difficult to look on the market and find a striker who has 20 goal contributions a season consistently in their locker and has the the lungs of Ollie Watkins as well, because he absolutely works his backside off. Forget the misses a sitter here or there. The guy absolutely works his knackers off, and that's something that we should shout about, because he really does give 100%. And there's no bigger critique for Ollie Watkins than Ollie Watkins himself. I don't know if you've seen the things that have been wrote in the Mirror of where absolutely massive that is, and you can see that it affects him when his form's on a dip. So there's nobody who would be more critical of Ollie Watkins than Ollie Watkins. And I understand both sides. If I take the business side, I understand last chance to cash in for Ollie Watkins. I don't know how much we'd get. Being realistic, I don't know, maybe between 30 to 45. I don't know if that's sensible. Maybe a bit more. We'll take a few quid. But if I think of my heart, I think, see out your days, spend the rest of your days here. You've got a young family here. And there's two ways to look at it. It's money to go in the kitty for us to reinforce and start something fresh up top, or, let's see out the rest of his days at Villa. So, I don't think there's a right or wrong answer. And football's a game of opinions, isn't it, Ash? I understand people who say, let's get rid, let's cash in. But I also see the side of see out your days and go out a hero. So so speaking of incomings on the front line, massively controversial one today. There was murmurs of it yesterday, but today it seems pretty concrete. The sources seem pretty concrete. Garnacho to Villa. What's your feelings on that, Ash?
Emery likes him, didn't he? He wanted him before he went to Chelsea, so Emery's a big fan, and I'm a big fan of Emery. So why not? I know there's a bit of controversy there. Is there an attitude problem? I don't know, but if there's one man to iron it out, it will be Emery. So if Emery's keen, I'm keen. Do you know what I mean? He's a long time admirer of him. 22 years old. He needs to kick on now. He's highly thought of at Man U, wasn't he, before he went. Chelsea move hasn't worked out, so is it the right time to have a bash? It's a similar situation to getting a Rashford in, getting an Asensio, getting a player who's not wanted at a club, give him a bit of love, and you never know what happens, do you, Ty? So I think it could be a good move. I do. He's really intriguing one, but he's direct.
He's young as well, Ash. And the thing is, he's 22 years old, and I was an absolute sausage when I was 22 years old, but obviously I probably haven't been coached professionally and living the life of a footballer, so I could get away with being a knobhead, and you can't get away with being a knobhead in football. But, going back to his spell at Chelsea, I mean, he's caused us some headache, mate. In games, he's absolutely, when he's on his A game, he's absolutely unplayable. But echoing what you said, if Unai, I'm at that stage exactly the same as you. I echo what you say, Ash. If Unai wants him, if it's a recruitment strategy side and Unai isn't involved, then it's a bit of a different conversation. But if Unai's given the green light, been a long-time admirer, I absolutely get behind that. And another thing to take into account, he's moved to Chelsea. And Bluco, I feel like anything that Bluco touches, doesn't go well. And I don't think there's really been anybody for Chelsea who I can think of off the top of my head who I think, they've really excelled in their career since they've gone there. They spend a gargantuan amount of money. They're over £1.5 billion in debt. And they just keep throwing money at the problem and then offloading the things that aren't going so well. So I think a spell under Unai Emery, a fresh start. He knows the league. I think it's a really safe bet. I know that people are saying there might be an attitude problem, but Unai Emery gets the best out of footballers, and that isn't 100% success rate. People have echoed the point of, well, what about Sancho? What about John Duran? John Duran's attitude was a choice of himself, but we got our money back on John Duran plus, tenfold, and I don't think a comparison to it's not going to happen every time. It's not going to be one of those things where every single player we sign or anyone who's got a bit of a needs a redemption arc. It doesn't always go to plan, but I think we love a player who's due a redemption arc, who probably wants to turn a corner of a bad spell of their football career. And I genuinely believe I don't think I've got claret and blue tinted glasses on here, mate. I think it's the right move for him. I really do. A loan, whether that be a loan with an obligation, I'm not sure what the rules are on this 45-day thing where you can't do a transfer with the same club of a player that's just left. But I don't think that rule applies with loans to an extent. Well, all of this is going on now, so I assume the rule doesn't apply. Ornstein's reporting it, Tanzwa's reporting it, Fabrizio's reporting it. They all are, Ash. But I really think this is a chance for him to turn a corner, mate. I really think that if there's somebody in the league, a manager of Unai Emery's calibre, Unai Emery's a man to turn that guy's career around. What do you think, mate?
Yeah, 100%, mate. He's got that carrot in front of him as well. Get back in the Argentina squad, do your bits, get Martinez, get an arm around him. I think he needs, and I just think if Bailey's going, it's Garnacho. We're getting Garnacho in, but you know what I mean. So it's not all bad, I don't think. And like you say, it's time to knuckle down if he does come in. Talent's clearly there. Ty's rinsed us a few times at Villa Park, so yeah, I think it's a no-brainer, really. I know he's got his critics, like you say, but like bottom line is Emery's wanted him for a while. There's a reason for that, Ty. Do you know what I mean? So, and if there's one man to get the best out of someone, it's Emery. So it's quite an exciting signing, I think. If it all gets done next couple of days, it's one to watch for sure.
Yeah, I agree on that, mate. And it's just never a normal day in Villa transfer window Twitter. There's always a little bit of controversy, and football is a matter of opinion. So I completely understand why those people are like, I don't want that attitude in the dressing room. But echoing what you said, Ash, I think Emi Martinez getting an arm around him. They're both Argentinian. I think that'll be massive for him. And there's plenty of senior figures within the Villa squad who can put an arm around him and guide him, coach him, and hopefully get the best out of him. And it's not just Unai who's going to get that. And I really think he'll add value. I think we're definitely bringing that squad age down a little bit. I think there's a few more who need to go out of the club, but we'll save that episode for another day. But yeah, it has my approval, mate. It has my thumbs up. So, Ash, final topic of the pod this evening, mate.
Go on, mate.
Let's get some predictions from you. End the podcast on a high. League position, Ash. And let's go cup runs. Yeah. So in fact, we'll do league last. Let's go domestic cups. What are you thinking?
I say this every year. We used to do previous shows back with the lads and Kendo, and that we used to say we're going to win the FA Cup. We're going to win the lot every year, and we never quite do it. And like you say, I would love the FA Cup, so I really would, and I love the League Cup as well. But Emery's not a fan. He's here the League Cup. You've seen that a few times, especially with fighting on four fronts this season as well. Cups wise, it would be nice to win one. I'll go semi-finals, FA Cup, and then probably get dumped out early doors in the League Cup because we're prioritising something else. But yeah, it'd be nice to win the Super Cup in a couple of weeks as well. So let's get that in the bag first. Come on.
I completely forget about the Super Cup, and then suddenly it enters my mind. I have a million thoughts around the Super Cup. We've got 6 friendlies before then, and one of them is for anyone. When Ash said Maggio scored 2, by the way, we're recording this in the halftime break of the Villa Warsaw game, so he may have scored more than that. So if you guys are correcting in the comments, if he does end up scoring more, that's why. At the point when we were talking about this, Maggio got 2, and it was halftime. But yeah. The Champions League, what do you reckon for the Champions League, Ash?
Champions League. The format suits us, doesn't it? I'm still not over the PSG game, so being honest with you. I could do
an hour episode on that, I really could.
Still not over that. We had them.
One of the best games I've ever seen in my life.
We had them. We would have beat Arsenal after that in the semis, and there was Inter in the final.
Yeah. Good question. It was definitely Arsenal in the semis. I can't remember who they had in the final there.
I think they smashed
I should know that. It feels like it was forever ago, but it wasn't. It was literally 12 months ago, but I can't remember anything like pre-3 months. Just an age thing, I think. I forget everything. I'm gonna end this recording in a minute, Ash, and I'm gonna be like, what have I been doing for the last half hour? And like just complete mind fart. But yeah. League position. I don't even give me a Champions League, have you?
Champions League. Yeah, I've done it, mate. Got quarters.
Gonna say quarters again.
Quarters, yeah.
Okay.
Tough one.
And the Prem?
Again, it's a tough one, isn't it? I don't know how the Prem's going to go with all the new managements and stuff, and the big boys going to come back into it. You got Tottenham, what they're going to do? Spend a lot of money. Calling Steve Bruce phrase, we'll be there or thereabouts, I think.
in and around Europe.
Yeah, I'd say so. You'd like
That's
to think
fair.
that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I hope so.
Not quite a total charge. I know we've referred to that in the past, but I'd say in and around the European spots. And yeah, but like you say, we're going to spend a bit of money from now until the start of the season. Who knows, mate? So, and we've got the best manager in the league at the helm. Anything's possible. So, yeah, I'd say top 4 or 5.
Yeah, I agree, mate. I agree with that one. Definitely in and around the Champions League again. I think we'll be in the push. And, if we didn't have that bad start to the season last season, who would have known what had happened? And, a Kamara injury. And this season it's been Onana.
Oh, man.
But anyway, Ash, it's been an absolute honour to have you on the channel, mate. And, you're only guest number 2 behind Neil Dunworth. So, there's nobody else I'd rather on here because you was in my first ever podcast, Ash. So, you're always someone who I value highly and you're a good friend. So,
I appreciate your
Preece,
time,
thank you for coming to the 12th Man. Thank you for the love and support and on short notice jumping on, mate. It's much appreciated. Ash, it's an up the Villa from me, mate. And is it an up the Villa from you?
Up the Villa. Up the effing Villa.
The effing Villa. Till next time.
Top man.